Hello, everybody. Welcome once again to the Scare Dad podcast. This is another segment of our vendor spotlights for the upcoming Houston Horror Film Festival pop-up market on January 16th. And today we're invited by a guy by the name of Mark Chavez. And what I can say is, going back to the first pop-up market, I remember being there Friday night, setting up the room and everything. And Mark arrived, showed him where his booth was, and said, "Hey, let me go help you unload your van." So we start bringing everything inside, and I was so taken aback by the quality of the items you had. And I immediately had to start taking pictures and posting them on Facebook because Mark Chavez with Disco Bloodbath makes these insane horror themed 3D shadow boxes that are just, they're incredible, man. And what was crazy is it was popular with everybody at the show. It was popular with the volunteers, the organizers, the guests. I know Felissa loves your boxes. I know for sure. It was just
Love
amazing.
Felissa.
So
Yeah. We have a lot of history. Yeah.
Welcome to the show, Mark. And I'll let you go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself and what got you into making, in particular, horror themed shadow boxes? Because we're a horror podcast. We love the horror community, and you're doing a good job representing them with your products.
Well, no, first of all, let me just say, first of all, thank you guys so much. You guys really did help me out with setting up my booth and everything, and I really do appreciate that. Yeah, I am a one-man operation. Yeah, my name is Mark Chavez. I've lived in Los Angeles since '92. I moved there literally before the Northridge quake. So whatever year that was. And I moved back here to Houston, Texas recently. Actually, in December, it was 1 year that I had been back to Houston. I was born and raised here. And yeah, in LA, I wore many hats. I was a esthetician for a dermatologist in Beverly Hills. I was a termite inspector. I was a lot of things. And lastly, I was an artist. The dream I always had was to be an artist. So I started going to conventions, just like you and I, started going to conventions when they started to get popular. And I noticed that people just had the same stuff always, the same action figure or the same poster to sign. And I thought, well, I want to just take it up a notch. I want to do something unique. And so I started just making these for myself. I was taking them to conventions, and there's a store in Burbank, California, not too far from where I lived in Hollywood. It was called Dark Delicacies. And every year they would have this mass signing, which is called Day of the Scream Queens. David DeCoteau put that on, who's a friend of mine, who directed a lot of films back in the 80s, I can't think of any offhand, but he's done a lot of them. It's crazy. I have the shadow boxes, but this is one of those moments where I just went blank. But Sorority Babes in a Slime Bowl Arama. That's what the movie did. Anyway, so I forgot who it was. Maybe it was Felissa. Somebody was like, "Wow, I really love these. You should start, making these to sell." And then the store owner, Sue and Dale Howison, who own Dark Delicacies in Burbank, they approached me and said, would you consider doing some for us, for our store? Because we have these signings. It'd be cool to have, somebody, some original art that our guests could sign and people could buy. So that's what kind of set the ball in motion. So, and I owe I have a lot of gratitude towards Sue and Dale Howison, because they really launched my career. And because of them, I'm friends now. I can say I'm friends with people like Tom Holland, who owns a whole line of my art.
Wow.
Joe Dante, William Lustig. It's just, the list goes on and on. So I'm very blessed, and I owe a lot to them. But yeah, so then that snowballed into me doing it at conventions. And that was, maybe about 7-8 years ago.
Wow.
And here I am. So that was a little history.
Well,
That's awesome.
You perfected your craft. That's for sure. They look great.
Thank you. Well, I also had the advantage because when I lived in LA for the last 19 years I lived there, I managed the apartment that I lived in. So I was able to dedicate all my time to being able to start my art because I'm a one-man operation, so I do everything. So that really gave me a stepping stone. But I mean, that was a whole other experience living there. I mean, I don't know if you guys know who Rena Rafael is. She was in Candyman 3. She was also in Showgirls. She played Penny. She was my tenant for a while. Yeah. So so I just that job allowed me so many connections because a lot of my tenants were worked on craft services, on films. Some of them were grips. I mean, I had so many people that I got to meet in the industry. So between that and then all the jobs that I had, in Beverly Hills, and then being a termite inspector, that's where I met Joe Alves. I didn't even know who Joe Alves was. I can't believe I didn't know who the designer of the original Bruce, right, the shark from the original Jaws. I can't believe I didn't know who he was. But that's how I met him. I was doing a termite inspection around his house, and he had these beautiful wooden sculptures of mermaids. And I complimented him on these beautiful sculptures. And I said, wow, you're a really great artist. He said, oh, thanks. My daughter, he did them for his daughter. My daughter loves mermaids. So he did these beautiful sculptures. And then I went to the backyard and I noticed that he had a shark that was a wooden shark. And I said, wow, that looks like the shark from Jaws. And he was like, well, I designed that. And I directed part 3. And I was like, wow.
See, that's so awesome.
We could do a whole show on that, but yeah. So that's how I kind of really eased into that because I think I was just in the right place at the right time and I had the right idea, and so yeah. I mean, it's been a really great ride. No, don't ever let anybody tell you your dreams can't come true because this was always my dream.
That's
and
amazing.
It came true.
Yeah. Well, I would like to talk more about your art, but since you gave us kind of a background on some of the folks and stuff, I've always found it fascinating because Scott and I met over talking about scary movies and stuff. But of all of the fandoms because we're comic nerds, right? So like we talk about horror stuff here, but we like Marvel and the Avengers and Batman, and we like outer space and all of the other stuff. But it seems that of all of the fandoms, so you get your Marvel versus DC, you get your, Green Hulk versus your Gray Hulk, people will argue about different iterations of stuff. And really and truly, we find in like the horror genre is we might disagree about our favorite, say, Friday the 13th movie, but we love them all just for existing. And like the fandom and a lot of the actors and the creators that made that stuff throughout our lives that we love so much, they like it too. Like you very, very rarely find somebody that's just like, yeah, I really wish I hadn't made that movie. They're like, yeah, well, it kind of sucked, but it was fun, and so like, I was joking because you go to like a Frightmare or horror pop-up or whatever, and there's this weird sort of contrast of you've got all this like graphic and violent imagery, but then you've got all the people walking around with like little heart bubbles over their head. If there was a Snapchat filter, that would be what it was, because everybody's just so happy to be there. So we feel that way when we look at your art, and like, because I'm very much of the same vein where it's like I like the unique stuff. I'm drawn to the stuff that you don't see everywhere and that you don't see every day. You're like, wow.
Right.
And
yeah.
So that's what really triggers it for us, is like, wow, look at this. Who would even do that? This is really neat. So we really appreciate you coming on, because you were kind of the star of the show as far as the vendors, as far as I was concerned, as far as like uniqueness, and just kind of like stood there for like a long time before I got called to another volunteer duty. So it was really cool.
Well, thank you. That, you know what? That is the best flattery. Seriously, that really makes me feel good because, you know, it's good to know that this gives you guys the kind of joy that it gives me. Because the reason why I did this is because I love it. It's hard enough to go through life with the shitty stuff that goes on, but to have to get up every day and go to a job that you hate. And I love doing this. I mean, it's a lot of work. Physically, it's a lot of work because everything is hands-on. I do all the cutting, the pasting, everything I do I do the shopping. I do everything. So it's a lot of work, but it's a labor of love. And so I love hearing that, and I appreciate that. Thank you. And yeah, you know, that's going back to what you were saying about the horror fans with the heart bubbles over their heads. You know, one thing I could say about horror fans is that they really are the best. And me and Felissa Rose actually were talking about this not too long ago, and it really is the best genre to be in because, like you said, you know, I did Alamo City Comic Con in San Antonio a couple of years back, and even I saw the infighting within the Marvel and the Star Wars and everybody else, and everybody with the horror thing is pretty cool. It's been very rare that I've seen anything. So yeah, I agree with you on that.
Awesome. So where else do you go? Where else do you say you do conventions? You live in Houston now, but where else do you show? Like, do you just run the circuit?
Well, no, when I was in a position when I was in LA where I couldn't really travel very much because I was the apartment manager. So, but I did do Alamo City Comic Con here in San Antonio. But I was mainly headquartered in Los Angeles. So I did primarily, my biggest shows were Monsterpalooza, Son of Monsterpalooza, which one was in Burbank, which was Son of Monsterpalooza, and then Monsterpalooza was in Pasadena, California. Then I would do Midsummer Scream in Long Beach, they're all great shows. Out here, the only show I ever did was, like I said, Alamo City Comic Con, and I did Cult Classic Convention in Bastrop, which was actually a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that one. That was not the biggest moneymaker because it's not a big convention, but as far as fun and as far as variety, and they get some really great guests. So yeah, this is the first year that I won't be with them, I think, there's another year, sorry. I missed out on the first year because of the hurricane, but that was a whole other story. But yeah, no, but Houston Horror Film Festival is going to be my next big show, I guess you could say, only because all of California is still under lockdown, so they can't even plan anything right now. So right now, the only shows I really have planned is the pop-up market coming up weekend after next, but then the Houston Horror Film Fest coming up. So, but yeah, I pretty much stay local. I don't travel very much. I'm not very travel friendly.
So
because I have all my art, my pro panels. I have all that I have to transport, and like I said, I'm a one-man operation, and you know, I'm 50, so it's like you know, I have to take that into consideration. So, but yeah, no, I'm not. I would love to keep doing them, and I'm going to. So.
Well, you mentioned COVID, obviously, and the lockdowns. Obviously that's probably hasn't been good for business, but have you been able to pivot? You know, like you're doing online sales or?
Well, you know, I am very, very blessed, and I have to say I have the best customers in the world. I really do, because my customers really came through for me. It's particularly the ones in that I, you know, my fans, you could say, in California, in like Monsterpalooza, those shows, or the ones that have bought from me from Dark Delicacies in Burbank. Yeah, I mean, I did really so much so that I actually had to stop selling on Etsy because the amount of work was becoming too much. I have to really decide whether I'm going to do the shows or I'm going to do online, because I just can't do both. It's not possible unless I have someone else, which I really would rather just keep it. See, the whole point with this is that I didn't want to do 100 shows. I didn't want to be online so everybody could get this. My whole purpose of this was, when I started this, was because, like I said, I was only doing them for myself, and I really wanted to do more. I mean, I was going to do more horror-based art, but I was going to go more into like fashion photography kind of an art, because I have a history. When I was much younger, I believe it or not, I was a teen model. And so I love taking pictures. I love photography. So that was like my biggest, but then it just kind of fell into this direction. But no, I was, hold on one second. I'm sorry. Sorry, you guys.
Yeah, no problem.
If anybody that's ever had a cat would understand that you can't really ever take your eyes off them for too long. So my apologies. But anyway, now this is where you guys can help me, because I lost my train of thought.
You were saying how you wanted to always be a one-man operation. You didn't want to have to share. You know, you're not trying to scale.
Yeah. The point is that I did them to support small businesses like Dark Delicacies. And then I also did them because I wanted people to come out and support the conventions, because it takes a lot of work to put those things on. You know, it's a lot of work,
yes,
and you know, it almost becomes like a. I was gonna say traveling circus, but that sounds a little out there. But it's more like a traveling family. It's like all these people you get to see on a regular basis. They become friends, they become family, and they got your back. And so I did it primarily to support that. It was never my intention to like sell 1 million of these or whatever. I want to keep it on the lowdown. I want to do it, you know, for people to come out and support these conventions. But yeah, no, to going back to your original question, I mean, I've done very well online, luckily, enough to keep me afloat. So I'm not going to say I'm a millionaire, because I'm not. But and you know, and seriously, it's not but I'm doing okay thanks to my customers, and I'm very grateful. So
that's awesome.
And I think that's an important thing, that whether you're a millionaire or not, if you're doing what you love and your needs are met, then you might as well be, because you know, that's that whole.
I'm very simple. You know, I mean, I've had all the money I ever wanted, and I lost it, and then I had it again, then I lost. So, you know, and I was raised very, very lower middle class, I guess you could say, working family. My family cleaned buildings for a living. We had a janitorial company. So I've lived a very very interesting roller coaster of a life. I really have. So, but I mean, seriously, it's been an amazing ride. And if this is where I end up, I have no complaints, because to me, there's nothing that brings me more joy than when I go to the conventions and I see my second family, and I see my friends, and I see people that come by, and, you know, even if they don't buy from me, the fact that they leave with a smile, I think it's a great thing. So
right,
that's awesome.
Well, like I said earlier, I've showed some pictures of some of your work from the last pop-up market, but if you want to show us some of the items you're going to be bringing on this next market, feel free to let us see what you got.
Let me hit pause. I just got informed that my wife's 2 p.m. is a Zoom, so she needs my computer to do it. Oh, okay. So I'm going to leave you guys to talk. I'm going to jump out, and then Mark, it was very nice meeting you again. I met you at the show, but you were selling so much stuff that, but really appreciate you coming on, and I'm looking forward to seeing you on the 16th.
Likewise, thank you.
I'll see you guys. I'll see Scott at 3, but I'll see you guys in a couple weeks.
Okay.
All right. See you.
Bye.
All right. So, you want to see what I have?
Yeah. Let's see some of the items you're going to be bringing. I'd love to see them.
Yeah. So you know, this isn't horror based, and I get it, but Deborah Foreman, who's a sweetheart. You guys are gonna love her. You know, you guys have you ever met her, by the way?
No, I
Scott?
haven't. Not yet. Not yet. Looking forward to it,
She's
but
a
I haven't.
sweetheart. She's her and Felissa are one of the people, one of the celebrities I can say that I know that just are really good people.
That's
like
good to
really
hear.
great people. They love their friends. So, but anyway, this is of course Deborah's biggest movie, which is
Oh yeah,
Valley Girl
with Nicolas Cage.
So,
Yep.
so this is a really cool 3D. Now this is based off of the Thai poster,
Okay.
and I'm gonna zoom in so you can see that. And this is really cool. I put some little vinyl records in there, and I really made it really cool and made it really pop and really fun. And I left a dead space here so she could sign it if you guys are interested in having. Yeah, so that's one that I have. And then Deborah's other movie, of course, is next biggest movie, I guess, is April Fool's Day.
Yeah.
So that's one that's really cool that I'm going to have also for Deborah to sign. And you can see the little wine bottles there on the bottom.
Yeah, that is very cool.
That's a fun art piece. And, you know, I was always doing black frames. I wanted to mix it up a little. So I thought this is really cool because, you know, it looks like she's leaning up against some table or something. There's a lot of silver. So, you know, it'd be, but I also have them in black in case anybody wants them in black. So there's that. And then the next thing I'm going to have to show is, of course, Frankenhooker, because Patty's going to be there.
Yeah.
And that's a really cool one. Check that out. And that one I think this looks better in the silver frame.
It does look,
because it really
pops very
highlights.
well. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. And because she's glowing in silver in the background. So anyway, so that's one that I wanted to also show you guys. Then this one is, I love this one, by the way. Now, I've done Sleepaway Camp before, but never in a red glossy
that
box
looks really, really good. Wow.
Look, check that out in the bottom. Look at how beautiful that looks.
Wow, that does look great.
It looks like that really adds to the dimensionality of the product. I'm going to move it around like that. And it really looks like there's blood dripping around in there. So that's really cool. So this is a really cool one that I'm going to have.
Cool.
So,
well, that is awesome, man. You know, one thing I've been wanting. Oh, go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead and show that one. Yeah.
Then I have the Amelia. Amelia's going to be there. So I have this one from Night of the Demons. Now, this is a really cool one. This is also in a red box. But if you guys look closely at her eyes, look at how awesome that is.
It does look great. Wow.
I mean, her eyes just in the right lighting, it looks like there's a light there, but there's no light. It's just the way the light catches it. But that's beautiful. I just finished that one. This is the first one I finished specifically for the show. So there's that. And then and I've never seen this movie, but I figured since, you know, where did I glare? So I did that one too, and this one is Scary Movie. Since there's going to be someone there from that film that's going to be signing.
That is
a beautiful piece. 3D. So that's a fun one also. Thank you. I only did 2 of those, so I've been kind of moving at a snail's pace, but that's a little preview of what I'm going to have there.
You know, one thing I wanted to ask you is because I know do you ever do custom orders? And the reason I'm asking is I can't, since I've seen your items and everything ever since the first pop-up market, I'll look at a comic book or I'll look at a poster or a VHS box and think to myself, this would make an incredible 3D box from Mark. Do you ever do custom orders? Or
oh yeah, yeah.
You do? Okay.
All the time. I did. Well, I'm not going to say who, only because I would just rather respect people's privacy. But probably the biggest name in horror right now recently commissioned me to do a 3D art box of Dawn of the Dead, and it's based off the UK poster.
Oh, wow.
And I couldn't find a good image, so I basically found bits and pieces, and I morphed it, and thank God for photo editing software. And I got to the point where it just looked incredible. It's on Instagram. If anybody's from all different kinds of people, whether you're a horror legend or whether it's somebody that's one of my biggest customers out in LA, as a matter of fact, who's a real estate agent. He just commissioned me to do an art piece for the new Halloween.
Okay.
So, and that was really cool. That came out really well. So yeah, I do all different sizes. And I have all different price points. So yeah, I like to have a little something for everything. Well, you've seen my booth. I like to have something for everything, everybody.
Well, that's great to hear. Well, look, we're going to be running out of time in a little bit with the recording. So thanks for joining us. Can't wait to see you again at the pop-up market, of course, and see your items out there. We'll make sure to share your Facebook page in our group. And for anybody looking for it, it's Disco Bloodbath Art on Facebook, right?
Right, and Instagram and Disco Bloodbath Studio, if Etsy, if you guys want to buy something online.
All righty, well, good deal. Well, thanks again, Mark. We appreciate you joining us. Like I said, can't wait to see you at the next show, man. It's going to be a good time again.
Thank you, Scott. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Let's do it.
All right, good deal, man. Well, look, you take care. You have a good rest of your day. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, talk to you soon. Thanks.
All right.
Bye.